When it comes to concrete records of several breakthroughs during Hollywood's golden age and even present day, Robert Redford is going strong as he embarks in his glory years into his mid-80s. As one of the last surviving stars in his 6-decade-long career of being a filmmaker and an A-list veteran Hollywood actor, Redford had his fair share of both glorious and downright desolate experiences that some of us might have not known. Well, not until now, because in this video, we'll take a look at the most tragic details about Robert Redford's life. Childhood polio struggle. Back in the day, polio was one of the most feared ailments parents had to worry about in regards to their children. And surprisingly, amidst the strong and agile physique despite his old age, Robert Redford once fell victim to this deadly disease. In 2001, the famous actor revealed in his book, Robert Redford: The Biography, written by the prominent author Michael Feeney Callan, that he had to stay in bed for several weeks when he was 11 years old due to extreme fatigue during an ocean swim. In his interview with NPR in 2018, although his case was not severe, the period when he fell ill was the time when Salk vaccine was not discovered yet. So for you Generation Zs out there, keep in mind that your parents aren't old yet. Do or dare. Dare can be death. Robert Redford is known to be a man of modesty and decorum, which makes him a stand-up kind of guy. But would you believe that a man like him also was once a rugged roughneck? Of course you can. Sometimes he portrayed them in his movies. Back in his hometown in Van Nuys, he was known to get in some mischievous recklessness that sometimes almost resulted in death. While spending his time with his gang, this notable award winner was dared to prove he wasn't a yellow belly. And for you Gen Zs, if you don't know what yellow belly is, it means chicken. So he jumped off a rather high commercial building, a challenge which he actually took with full bravado. He broke some of his bones, but at least he had the rugged, bold street credit and bragging rights. After becoming part of the imprudent squad, Redford, along with the rest of the gang, spent their time drinking alcohol and being the source of several community troubles until he was 16. Losing his mom at 18. No other pain can equate to losing a mother prematurely, and especially at an early age. After paying an emotional tribute to his mom via Closer Weekly during the Utah Women's Leadership Celebration in 2018, the self-confessed teenage tearaway revealed that his mom passed away due to a hemorrhage when she was only 40 years old. And as he grew older, it pains him more to think about how he wasn't making things easy for her, especially during the time she needed him the most. It was his mom who believed in him the most. She would say there was something in him that would eventually turn out okay, and apparently there really was. Only that his mother wasn't around to see his ultimate success, because just 5 years after her death, Robert Redford made his legendary screen debut, losing his second father figure. Aside from the despair of losing his mother early, he also grew up without a father. But thanks to young Robert's uncle David, everything turned out well, even with the absence of both parents. His father worked as a milkman, but wasn't around most of the time. And some say that half of being a father is actually just to be present in the kids' lives. But at least Robert Redford had his uncle David. Eventually, the two of them developed a close bond. Sadly, after taking off to be one of General Patton's Third Army soldiers during World War II, his uncle never returned home, and once again, Robert was left without a paternal presence. Kicked out of college. Although it has been reported that Redford left the troublemaking gang life when he was 16, apparently, Robert's series of mischiefs didn't end there. When he was attending college in the University of Colorado, he became one of the Kappa Sigma Brotherhood, and he blasted off yet another epic reputation. He was known as the epitome of a party animal. According to Michael Callan Feeney in his book, the prominent veteran actor was relatively famous in several drinking circles. His misdeed under the influence caused him to be kicked out of college only 18 months after starting university. But he didn't give up from there. He eventually learned fine arts where he studied painting in Florence and Paris, and drama in New York's American Academy of Dramatic Arts. His firstborn's death. Finally, his life was on track and he married Lola Van Wagenen. Their lives were running smoothly, and this got a whole lot better when he joined the ranks of fatherhood, as his son Scott was born. Then turmoil beset his family, and the first-time parents tragically lost Scott to what is known as sudden infant death syndrome. This left Redford blaming himself for not checking on the baby in the middle of the night. His grief then dominated his life for half a century. His son James almost died at birth. The pain of losing a child for the first time is too traumatic to even fathom. and you could just imagine how it would feel if it happened the second time around. Later, Redford admitted that just 3 years after losing his eldest son, Scott, Robert was again faced with a colossal threat of losing both his wife and his second son, James. The shadow of death was once again casting over Redford's family. The infant was only given a 40% chance to live after being birthed prematurely and diagnosed with hyaline membrane disease, an illness that cost the life of John F. Kennedy's second son. But as they say, there's always a rainbow after the rain. And Redford's wife Lola and his second son James made a full recovery. Mysterious death of his friend Natalie Wood. Some people can reach senior citizen age and not experience the amount of death that some youngsters experience. This might be the case for Robert Redford. It's safe to say that Redford may not have been the prominent figure he is now, if not for the Golden Globe winning role of Wade Lewis in Inside Daisy Clover. And becoming the great Wade Lewis was all thanks to Natalie Wood, who was at the peak of her career during those glorious years, and her recommendation for Redford to take the role. Wood and Redford first met at high school and went to Warner Brothers together. These series of encounters later led to become true friends. In 1981, in rather mysterious circumstances up until this very moment, Natalie Wood passed away while on her trip in Catalina Island, and this tragedy left Robert in full devastation. Are you surprised to hear all of the turmoil that Robert Redford had to endure in his life? And since you're watching this video, you might be a fan of Redford. So which of his films is your favorite? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.